The slap echoed across the university courtyard like a gunshot. Marcus Kim stood frozen, his perfect face turned to the side, a red handprint blooming across his cheek. Around them, dozens of phones rose into the air, capturing every second. The scholarship girl who'd just struck the heir to Kim Tech Empire didn't even flinch. "Your family destroys lives for profit," Zara Thompson said, her voice shaking with rage. "My mother lost everything because of you. Stay away from me." Marcus's shock morphed into a cold smile. He touched his cheek, laughing. "Your mother lost her job because she couldn't adapt. My family builds empires. Maybe if she'd worked harder instead of making excuses." Zara's hand flew again, but this time Marcus caught her wrist. Their eyes locked, fury meeting arrogance. She yanked free and walked away, leaving him standing in a circle of stunned onlookers. By midnight, the video had 3 million views. Marcus scrolled through comments in his penthouse apartment, each one a knife to his pride. His phone buzzed with messages from friends, all mocking him. David sent laughing emojis. "Bro, you got wrecked by a broke girl." Something inside Marcus snapped. He opened Instagram Live, his jaw clenched. "Everyone wants to know about that video. Fine. Here's what's going to happen. I'm making a public bet. In 30 days, that girl will apologize to me and admit she was wrong about everything. When I win, she'll do it on camera. If I somehow lose, I'll donate $100,000 to whatever charity she picks. Watch me prove that success wins. Always." The comments exploded. 10,000 viewers became 50,000. Marcus smiled and ended the stream, already planning his victory. The next morning, Zara found expensive roses on her dorm room doorstep. She grabbed them, marched to the nearest trash can, and dumped them in front of a crowd of students. Someone filmed it. Marcus saw the video during lunch and gritted his teeth. He tried again. A designer handbag appeared at her campus job. She donated it to the women's shelter that afternoon, tagged him in the post with a single word: "Try harder." His friends thought it was hilarious. Marcus didn't. He never failed at anything in his life, and he wasn't about to start with some scholarship student who didn't understand how the world worked. Then came the email. Mandatory workshops for business pitch competition finalists. Marcus had entered on a whim with some half-baked AI app idea. The prize was $50,000, pocket change for him, but the competition looked good on a resume. He barely glanced at the requirements until he saw the finalist list. Zara Thompson, community resource platform for displaced workers. Of course she was a finalist. Of course they'd be forced to spend hours together in workshops. The first session was unbearable. 20 students sat in a circle while Professor Chin discussed user research. Marcus slouched in his chair, scrolling his phone. Zara sat directly across from him, taking notes like her life depended on it. "Mr. Kim," Professor Chin said sharply, "perhaps you'd like to share your user research findings?" Marcus looked up, unbothered. "My app targets young professionals who want AI assistance." Market size is huge. Easy win. "And have you spoken to any of these users?" "Don't need to. The data's obvious." Across the circle, Zara made a sound of disgust. Marcus's eyes snapped to hers. "Something to say?" "You have every advantage," she said quietly, her pen still moving across her notebook. "Money, connections, time. And you're wasting it on something you don't even care about. That's what I have to say. At least I'll actually succeed instead of chasing some feel-good project that'll never scale." Zara's pen stopped. She looked up, and Marcus saw something in her eyes that made his stomach twist. Not anger this time. Disappointment. "My mother worked for your family's company for 12 years, she said. She trained new employees, stayed late, gave everything. Then your father decided to automate her entire department. 200 people lost their jobs in one day. No severance. No help finding new work. Just gone. My project isn't feel good, Marcus. It's about making sure what happened to her doesn't destroy other families." The room had gone silent. Marcus felt everyone staring at him, waiting for his response. For the first time in his life, he didn't have one. Professor Chin cleared his throat. "Next week's challenge requires all finalists to spend 24 hours with their target users. Understand their world. Mr. Kim, I expect you to take this seriously." Marcus nodded, still looking at Zara. She'd already gone back to her notes, dismissing him completely. He hated that more than the slap. The following Saturday, Marcus found himself standing outside the Riverside Community Center, feeling ridiculously out of place in his designer clothes. Zara had posted about volunteering here every weekend. If he wanted to win this bet, he needed to understand her world. That's what he told himself anyway. Inside, the center buzzed with activity. Older adults clustered around computers, struggling with resume templates. A woman in her 50s was crying quietly while a volunteer helped her fill out job applications. "Can I help you?" A tired-looking woman approached him. Her name tag read Dorothy Thompson. Marcus's throat went dry. Zara's mother. She didn't recognize him, thank God. "I'm here to volunteer for the workshop assignment." Dorothy's face lit up. "Wonderful. We need help at the computer stations. Most of our folks are trying to update their skills, but technology moves so fast." She paused, her smile fading slightly. "I'm one of them, actually. 12 years as an operations manager, and suddenly everything I knew was obsolete." Marcus followed her to a computer bay, his chest tight. For the next 6 hours, he helped people twice his age navigate job boards, fix their LinkedIn profiles, and practice interview questions. A former accountant broke down describing how he couldn't afford his daughter's medication. A single mother explained she'd been applying to 200 jobs a month for 6 months with 0 interviews. These weren't statistics. They were real people, broken by decisions made in boardrooms like his father's. When Zara arrived for her evening shift, she stopped dead seeing him there. Marcus was helping an elderly man named Robert format his resume, actually listening, actually engaged. "Marcus?" Her voice was cautious. He looked up, and she saw something different in his face. Shame, maybe. Or the beginning of understanding. "Your mom's been teaching me," he said quietly. "She doesn't know who I am." Zara's expression hardened. "Don't you dare hurt her." "I won't. I just..." He glanced at Robert, then back to Zara. "You were right. I didn't understand anything." She didn't respond, just moved to her station. But throughout the evening, Marcus caught her watching him with something less than hatred. It felt like a small victory, even though he knew he didn't deserve it. Over the next 2 weeks, something shifted. The mandatory workshops became less mandatory and more something else. Marcus started actually working on his pitch, though it felt hollow compared to Zara's passion. They began staying late in the library, initially on opposite sides of the room, then gradually closer. One night at 2 in the morning, Marcus found Zara asleep over her laptop, her face creased with stress even in sleep. Her screen showed spreadsheets analyzing the 200 workers laid off from his father's company. She'd researched every single one, tracking their employment status, their struggles. Marcus sat down across from her, guilt crushing his chest. She'd been carrying this weight alone while he'd been playing games. He pulled out his phone and started making calls. By morning, he'd used his connections to set up user testing for her platform with 3 nonprofit organizations. He left the information on her desk and disappeared before she woke up. When Zara saw the emails, she knew immediately who'd sent them. She found Marcus in the courtyard, sitting alone with coffee. "Why?" she asked, sitting beside him without invitation. "Because your project matters. Because you're right about everything, and I've been an arrogant idiot." They talked until their next class really talked. About pressure and purpose and fear. Zara admitted, "I slapped you because I was scared. Scared people like you never face consequences. Scared my mom would think her struggle meant nothing." Marcus wanted to confess about the bet right then. The words were in his throat. But his phone buzzed with a message from David. 20 days left. She falling for it yet? He silenced his phone, hating himself. "Tell me about your platform," he said instead, pushing the guilt down. For the next week, they became something like partners. Marcus stopped trying to win the bet and started trying to help for real. Late-night strategy sessions. Shared meals. Moments where their hands would brush over documents and neither would pull away. Zara felt herself softening, and it terrified her. This was Marcus Kim, symbol of everything wrong with wealth and privilege. But this Marcus, tired and passionate about her project, defending her ideas in workshops, sending her resources at 3 a.m., this Marcus made her forget to be angry. 2 days before the competition, Zara was reviewing their presentation when her phone exploded with notifications. Someone had tagged her in a post. She opened it, and her blood went cold. David had shared Marcus's original Instagram live. 30 days almost up. Has Marcus Kim won the bet? Will she apologize? Place your bets in comments. The video had 2 million views. Comments dissected every interaction between her and Marcus, laughing about how she was falling for it, making crude jokes about the broke girl getting played. Zara's hands shook as she scrolled. Every conversation, every late night, every moment she'd thought was real, it was all part of humiliating her. She'd been so stupid. Marcus was in the library when she found him. He looked up smiling until he saw her face. Zara, was any of it real? Her voice cracked. The community center? The help with my platform? The conversations about our families and our fears? Was it all just part of your game? No. Listen to me. You made me believe you'd changed. Tears streamed down her face now, and she didn't care who saw. You made me trust you. I started to, and this whole time, you were just trying to win a bet. To humiliate me on camera. It started as a bet, Marcus said desperately, reaching for her. But everything changed. I changed. What we have is real. We have nothing. She stepped back from his outstretched hand. Stay away from me, Marcus. And good luck tomorrow. You're going to need it. She walked away, and Marcus stood frozen, watching the best thing in his life disappear because of his own stupidity. Competition day arrived cold and gray. The auditorium filled with students, professors, and investors. Zara sat backstage, her eyes red but her spine straight. She'd worked too hard to let Marcus Kim destroy this. When her name was called, she walked on stage and delivered her presentation flawlessly. Her voice shook slightly, talking about her mother, about the 200 workers, about building a platform that would help displaced employees retrain and find new opportunities. The judges leaned forward, captivated. Impressive, Judge Martinez said during Q&A, but what's your funding strategy? How do you scale this? Zara hesitated. The truth was, she didn't know. She'd been counting on the $50,000 prize, but that would barely cover the first phase. I'm working on partnerships, she said, and applying for grants. Thank you, Miss Thompson. She left the stage knowing she'd lost. The idea was good, but without serious funding, it would die in development. Marcus was called next. He walked to center stage in his perfect suit, looking every inch the air everyone expected. The slides for his AI app presentation glowed behind him. He stood there silently for 10 seconds. 20. The audience began to murmur. Then Marcus turned off the slides. I need to tell you about a bet I made, he said. The auditorium went dead silent. In the front row, his father sat up sharply. Backstage, Zara's breath caught. Marcus told them everything. The slap, the wounded pride, the public bet designed to humiliate Zara into apologizing. He didn't spare himself, didn't make excuses. 1,500 people watched the heir to Kim Tech empire confess to being a petty, arrogant fool. I thought I was teaching her a lesson, he said, his voice raw. But she taught me what actually matters. That real success isn't about winning or proving you're better than someone. It's about using whatever privilege you have to lift others up. He pulled out his phone, opened his banking app, and projected it on the screen behind him. Live, in front of everyone, he transferred $1 million. Zara Thompson's platform isn't just a good idea. It's necessary. And Kim Tech is going to fund it. $1 million for development and scaling. She'll have full creative control. I'll work under her leadership if she'll have me, but this project is hers. The audience erupted. Half in shock, half in applause. Marcus's father looked like he might have a heart attack. I don't deserve her forgiveness, Marcus continued. I hurt her in the worst way. But those 200 workers my family laid off? They deserve this chance. So if this is how I lose the bet, I'll take it. He walked off stage to chaos. Reporters shouting questions. His father's face purple with rage. But Marcus only looked for one person. Zara stood in the wings, tears streaming down her face. Not from sadness this time. She approached him slowly. The noise around them faded. "I don't forgive you yet," she said quietly. "You hurt me, Marcus. Really hurt me. I know. I'm so sorry. But..." She took a breath. "If you're serious about this, about actually helping people, not just making a grand gesture, we can talk. Professionally." Marcus nodded, not trusting himself to speak. Zara's lips twitched into the smallest smile. "And Marcus? Next time you make a bet, make sure you're ready to lose everything you thought mattered." "Already did," he said softly. The judges awarded Zara the $50,000 prize on top of Marcus's funding. She stood on stage accepting the award, her mother crying in the audience, and for the first time in months, she felt hope. 6 months later, the news showed Zara and Marcus at a ribbon-cutting ceremony. "Kim Tech Initiative helps 500 workers transition careers," the headline read. In the footage, they argued passionately about the next expansion phase, gesturing at charts and talking over each other. But anyone watching closely could see the way Marcus looked at her when she wasn't paying attention. The way Zara's hand would brush his arm to make a point and linger just a moment too long. Some bets you're meant to lose. And sometimes, losing changes everything. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what bet changed your life. Should Marcus and Zara get their happy ending? Let me know below, and don't forget to like this video. More stories coming soon.